So I'm pretty sure we all have that one really chill friend. They don't really react to anything that's going on around them. Their house could be on fire and they would just be like, meh. Fire! Whatever. And that makes you question if maybe they're dead inside. But I can guarantee you that they're not all they seem. Here is a stress test, literally. Just put them in a car and let them drive. And make sure to get into the car with them and just watch as the slightest inconvenience throws them off and they'll road rage out of nowhere like you would have never expected. And unless you're the guy in town with a special car, you know, the guy that decks out their car like crazy and then drives around in circles all day long just soaking up the attention from people. Unless you're that guy. Nobody knows who you are when you're in your car, so we all take advantage of that and just road rage from time to time. So sorry to break it to you, but these mellow people that you know are just internally angry on a daily basis. Kinda like this guy right here.
I'm not a road rager.
Is exactly what a road rager would say. It's okay, just admit it. I admit it. It's hard to stay calm when people almost endanger my life or nearly scratch my precious 5-month paycheck. But we just can't help ourselves but let that one bad driver ruin a perfectly good day sometimes. I've also noticed that there are more bad drivers on Friday evenings and days before big holidays. No, it's not like there's some supervillain that only comes out on those days, puts a paper bag over his head and drives his car to disturb the peace. No. That villain is just normal people, all feeling entitled to get home earlier than you because they think somehow their time is more valuable than yours. Regardless of why someone's bad at driving, that's a whole other topic. Unless you really have to use the washroom from food poisoning, I feel you. Or you're rushing to get a woman into the hospital, or you just can't move that one finger and therefore didn't signal. If you drive badly, and you're putting others at risk. I hope this video will somehow guide you through the dangers of sharing the road with some of these terrible drivers I'm gonna talk about. Nah, I just want to get some road rage off my chest. The impatient driver. Guilty for putting others in danger for no reason. So I usually have a farther than normal following distance. Unfortunately, that also means I witnessed a lot of these. This impatient driver could have waited for me to pass and then turn left safely with so much time to spare. I mean, even a turtle would have enough time to cross the street. He wants what he wants right away. And this really reminds me of that famous social experiment where psychologists gave these kids a choice between eating one marshmallow right away or they wait 15 minutes and they got to eat 2 marshmallows. And then they separated the kids into 2 groups based on that decision, and then they followed the kids until they were older to see how their preference for delayed gratification would impact their life decisions and ultimate demise. Well, guess what? Those kids that waited were more likely to be drug-free, have higher SAT scores, and had healthier lifestyles. And the other group that did not wait, you guessed it, they became bad drivers. Next up on the list, we got the tailgaters, guilty for killing their own passengers and polar bears. Listen, you can tailgate when intimidation is the only way to get a slow car off the passing lane, but do you really need to tailgate at a red light or just like all the time? As if driving wasn't bad enough for the environment already, these tailgaters are all like, let me floor the gas pedal just so I can brake really hard 2 seconds later and then repeat again and again and again until my passengers puke their brains out from motion sickness. And I want to say to these people, please Google something called momentum. Or maybe you haven't heard of gravity. And being a tailgater, you probably also haven't heard of global warming. Douche. I mean, at least you have seen the gas prices lately, right? And if you still want to tailgate, then at least I feel responsible to tell you that in most places, the driver that rear ends the one in front, regardless of what happened, is almost always at fault to pay for the damages. So, just stop tailgating, okay? Anyway, after the tailgaters, we got the opportunistic bad drivers. Guilty for? Well, not much. These drivers don't particularly endanger anyone, but when they don't see a cop around, they'll either use the dedicated bus lane to cut in line, or when they're too impatient to wait at a red light, they cut through a gas station, which are often located at intersections for convenience. For getting gas, not as a shortcut. Yes, you can get fined for these things, but yes, people also risk it anyway. One time I even saw a car cross the street like a pedestrian. This car here, he wanted to switch to the farthest left lane and make a U-turn, but I didn't know. So when I saw him look left and right, I assumed he wanted to merge onto my lane. I stopped so that he could get in front of me. And then he just... Wait. I'm pretty sure you can't do that. And finally, in my opinion, we got the worst drivers of all time. I rarely honk, But if I do, it was their fault! They're gonna be trying to turn left. And you see that traffic on the opposite lane is quite heavy, so that means the car in front will have to come to a full stop and wait. But that's okay, because they have their own turning lane, and you can just still drive straight ahead. So you slow down a little bit because they haven't completely turned in yet. And then they come to a full stop. And so do you. People who have your own designated turning lane. Why is half of your car still in my lane? I swear if I ever get into an accident because I can't stop in time, I will drag you out of your car, look you straight in the eyes, and kick your car. Cause it has to get fixed anyway. And there you go. I feel so much better. Thank you guys for watching through all of that. And a lot of ranting was cut down in my script because the point I really want to get across is that we should all stay safe on the road. Not everyone who has a car has a license, and not everyone who with a license passed the marshmallow test. So stay calm because others won't drive better just because you're yelling at them from inside your car. And on our Discord last month, we asked you to draw your best Birdle and you guys voted. So congrats to Jen for winning. And also congrats to everyone for having so much creativity and putting effort to make our first ever event so successful and fun. June is a really special month for Bunimation because it is both our birthdays and anniversary. And these Birdle drawings made this year so much more memorable. Thanks again, everyone. Oh yeah, and by the way, Gabe's Birdle drawing was absolutely a lie, okay? Like, for the record, I don't do that. Like, steal his jacket and stuff, you know, like, I don't.
Seems like you're the road rager here.